today. Thank you for joining us. Hope that you're having a blessed day, and we thank God that we can come your way today. We are looking at Romans chapter number 8, and the subject that we're looking at is victory in Jesus. And we are looking at verse number 28. And we know that all things work together for good to them that love God, to them who are the called according to his purpose. And so we are looking at a victorious promise. Now, as we've been looking at this promise so far this week, we've looked at some things that confuse us concerning this promise, some fallacies, some false statements about this promise that we find. Now, as we move on now, I want us to begin to look at some of the great truths that we find in this promise, and there are some extremely great truths that we find here that should thrill us and should comfort our hearts. And the first promise, or the first fact that we see here, has to do with the entirety of this promise. And really, when we look at this, we can get in mind the picture of the entirety of our life. And so, the Bible says there again, and we know all things work together. And, sometimes I think we wonder in our own mind, what things are the Lord going to use in our life? Now, I know there's some individuals who think this way. They think that the Lord's only using the good things in their life. And yet I know other individuals who think, well, really it's those bad things that the Lord uses to grow them in life. And the truth of the matter is, the Bible gives us instruction here on what things the Lord uses. And so he says we know all things now are being used in our life. And the Lord is using those things right now in our life so that he might bring things together for the good in our life. Now, I'm just going to tell you, I claim to be just an old country boy, all right? And I don't claim to know all things or a lot of things, but I do claim this. I do claim that I understand what the word all means, friend. And when the Bible says that the Lord is using all things, I want you to know what the Greek means on that. It simply means this: he's using all things. And so our life is not made up of one experience or a handful of experiences. Who we are today is made up of all the experiences in our life, as the Lord has taken all the things in our life and he has woven them together, and he is using them for good in our life. There's some things, as I said earlier in the week, that we would look at and we would determine bad, and some things that I wouldn't necessarily want in our life. You take some of the medications, you watch some of these commercials for medications, and I don't think anyone that's seen some of these commercials and they list the side effects, I'll tell you, it seems like sometimes the side effects are worse than the cure, or what you needed the cure from. We might look at that and say, well, you know what, those are not good things in our life, and yet we know maybe we need some medication. Well, I want to tell you, the Lord takes all the things of our life and he uses them for the good. And so he takes the bad things. And I'll be the first to say, some of the greatest lessons of my life that I've learned from very, very difficult times. I've been through some very hard times in my life. And if you were to ask me, would you want to go back and go through that again? And I will tell you the answer is absolutely not. I don't want to have to face those moments again. I'd rather not go through those times. But also I want to tell you this. It's been in those moments that the Lord has taught me some very valuable lessons. And I wouldn't trade in those lessons for anything in the world. And what the Lord taught me about his care and his comfort and his person and his purpose for my life, I've learned in those very difficult moments, dear friend. Well, the Lord's taken those, but I will tell you this, he's also taken the good moments. Aren't you glad that you can look back in your life and see the good times in your life, and especially those with the family of God and the people of God, dear friend, and knowing this, that you're giving your life in service to the Lord. Know this, here's part of the promise. God's taken all those things and He's working them out for the good in our life. Hope you'll think about that today. Till the next time, may the Lord bless you as my